my channel. Today I am going to be answering all of your weight loss questions. This is actually part 2 to the part 1. If you haven't watched that video already, I will link that down in the description and put a card here somewhere. Hopefully I can get through all of your weight loss questions and you'll leave the video with everything answered. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, please leave a like, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. I will be doing a lot more weight loss Q&As, so make sure you're subscribed so that when I do post in my community tab, you will see it and you'll be able to get there as soon as possible so I can answer your questions. I hope you enjoy. When I get stressed, I go to just open the cupboard and eat something. Try and see if you can stop yourself in that moment and ask yourself before you eat something, why am I eating it? Am I hungry? Am I just stressed out? And if you're stressed out, you know that you eating that isn't necessarily gonna help. What I found helpful is if I can, I just go for a walk. It will help me so much. I feel less stressed, and most of the time, I'll come back and I won't necessarily need to eat. But I think as well, definitely if you're a stress eater and you do get stressed a lot, try to keep them kind of snacks out of the house. Find it very hard. If there's snacks in the house and I'm stressed, I will definitely probably pick it up. I'll be more likely to pick it out of the cupboard and just eat it. Did some stretch marks disappear when you lost weight, or did they say the same? The colour of the stretch marks definitely went from purple to white. As I've now got loose skin, they kind of look a little bit more prominent because the skin is creping around them a little bit. Did you crave carbs at the beginning of your journey? My downfall was purely carbs. Not necessarily, but I didn't cut out carbs. I think if you eat carbs in moderation, you won't necessarily crave them all the time. I think if you're telling yourself to not have carbs, then you're obviously going to crave it. If you are just putting a limit onto how much carbs that you can have, then you're going to crave it. So just make sure you're eating it in moderation and you'll be fine. As long as you're in a calorie deficit, you'll lose weight. Don't worry or stress about carbs. How long did it take you to lose the weight? When did the workout start getting easier? As I was exercising, week by week, the exercise was gradually getting easier. But when I find the workouts getting easier, I always increase the intensity. It just is how you keep progressing. You progressively overload. Within the first couple of days, I was noticing I was able to push myself a little bit more. I was that unfit that I was feeling better and better every time I was going to the gym and working out. So I hit my 100-pound weight loss, I think it was 10, 11 months in, and it's been a year and 4 months now and I've lost 120 pounds. I don't eat out and I don't snack on ridiculous amounts of treats, but I'm finding it hard to lose weight. I cook everything I eat from scratch. I don't drink anything but tea and water. I try to work out every day in some way. What am I doing wrong? I have 60 pounds to lose. I cannot sustain a low carb diet. I end up binging after a few days on it. Would love to hear your input. So first, don't cut out carbs. You don't need to cut out carbs to lose weight. Just don't. Because if you end up cutting it out and like you said, you end up binging after a few days, it's not helping. There's no need to cut out carbs. Carbs are not the enemy. Carbs are not making anyone fat, right? You can literally eat just carbs if you're in a calorie deficit and you'll lose weight. What I've noticed by reading these is that people have something against carbs. There's nothing wrong with carbs, man. If you're in a calorie deficit, you'll lose weight. And if you're not losing weight, you're not in a calorie deficit. Start counting your calories and reduce what you're eating. Reduce the amount you're eating and you will lose weight, because it's calories in, calories out, no matter what diet you try. The more calories you are burning than what you're eating, you're going to be in a deficit and you will lose weight. And what foods did you eat to help your weight loss? Spices, sauces, i.e. Nando sauces. Nothing necessarily helped me lose weight, if that makes sense. I definitely think having Nando sauce on my dinners really helps keep the food nice. Nando sauce on my food, I definitely nice. Skinny syrups and stuff on French toast, I found that really helps lower calorie sauces. I use the skinny syrup in my coffee. Just swap into lower calorie food options, which I'm actually going to do a video soon on my favorite low calorie food swaps. And do you still fight the urge to eat unhealthy things or binge, or do you no longer crave them? While I was losing the weight, I didn't really have that many cravings. If I did have a craving, I would just have a little bit of what I was craving and count it in my calories, and that was fine. By the end of last year, I'd lost almost all my weight. I was getting a lot more stricter with what I was eating. I found that I was cutting out a lot of the foods. If I was craving chocolate, I wouldn't have it. And I noticed that at that point, it would end up leading me to binging. And that has been a thing that I noticed is right towards the end where I was almost maintaining, I got so strict with my diet that I ended up allowing myself from eating that little bit of chocolate when I wanted it or whatever I was craving. And that would lead me to binge, just eating loads of food in one day and eating loads and loads of chocolate. and then obviously get back on track like the next day and stuff like that. But I noticed that it was happening more and more frequently, and I had to sit back and be like, okay, why is that happening, if that makes sense? And I realized it was because I actually, without realizing it and without consciously saying to myself, I'm not allowing myself to have this stuff, I did just end up not having it when I wanted it. And that is something that I've been working on since I've started maintaining, is actually incorporating that them foods and allowing myself to eat everything in moderation like I did whilst I was losing the weight. So yeah, I think that if you do cut out or stop yourself from having food like completely, then that is what will end up leading to a lot of binges and overeating. Because if you tell yourself you can't have something, it's like telling a kid like you can't have it, you want it more. Giving yourself the freedom to be able to eat it and you want it, just try and fit it in your calories. And I always tell myself, like, even if I really crave it and I've eaten my calories that day, I would rather eat that chocolate bar that would maybe be like 100 to 150 calories than say no to myself and be like, no, I don't want that chocolate bar at the end of the day because I've eaten my calories. And then by the end of the week, I end up eating like 2,000 calories worth of chocolate. You know what I mean? I always think about the reason why I want to eat as well. Why do I want the chocolate? Is it because I'm stressed? Because most of the time, if I'm stressed or emotional, that's when I want to eat the chocolate. So then I try and focus on that. But if it's just me wanting a chocolate bar, I'll just have the chocolate bar. Like, I'm allowing myself to have that, and it's stopping me from being like binging. How did I get through family occasions like birthdays, holidays, events, works, friends and family? They seem to happen all the time. So for me, I don't really have that stuff happening all the time. So when I do have like a family's birthday or Christmas, Easter, all of that stuff, I just allow myself not to track that day and have what I want, enjoy the time, because I just think them occasions don't happen all the time. And if you're eating in a deficit or maintenance, if you're eating healthy all the rest of the time, then 1 or 2 times is not going to make a massive difference. So that's what I do. And if it's happening quite often, and you know that it is happening more often than not and that it will hurt your weight loss, then you can say no. Like, you can say no and not go. Like, that is completely fine. Like, if it's something that's happening all the time, like a weekly, your friends want you to go out to eat with them every single week, you don't have to. Or you can always just find lower calorie options when you're there. How do you stay patient and keep a positive mindset when you know you're doing everything right but aren't seeing the results? Also, if you ever feel like giving up, what did you do or say to yourself to keep going? Love your channel and your videos. The way I kept patient and just kept a positive mindset is just reminding myself that I need to trust the process. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take a long time. I set my mind to it that it's a lifestyle. It might take me a year, 2 years, 3 years. Like, no matter how long it takes, I will eventually get there, and just trusting in myself. I think that's like the most important thing, is like, if you make a promise to yourself and you say, I'm going to do this, don't break that promise. Trust yourself that you're going to do this. And yeah, that's just what I did. I just trusted myself. But I just wanted to say as well, if you aren't seeing any results and it's been like a good few weeks, a month, and you're not seeing any changes in any measurement, just look back and reevaluate. Be very critical of yourself and be like, are you actually tracking your calories properly? Maybe you need to decrease the amount of calories or become more active, like anything like that. But if it's just like over a few days or 1 week where you're not seeing that much results, remind yourself of where you started or things that you've changed. What I noticed I always did was, I was, even right from the beginning, after my first week, I was taking before and after pictures and reminding myself of where I started. And the longer you do it and the more results you see, you don't want to end up giving up on yourself. I didn't want to go back to where I was, because I worked so hard to get where I am now, and that really keeps me motivated, just knowing that I've worked my butt off to get where I am. Even when it was a month in, I worked my butt off to get there and to have all that progress. I don't want to just go back to where I was. And I just would envision myself in a few months, how I would feel, how proud of myself I would be, how far I would get. I would literally just try and put myself into my future self's mind and just feel how happy I will be. And that really kept me motivated, kept me positive, and just kept me on track. I'm a little larger than you in your before picture. I'm stuck juggling hope and hopelessness, which has left me stuck for so long. I don't even know what to do or where to start anymore. Your journey and progress is absolutely incredible, and I'm so grateful that you use your progress to offer hope. I just want you to know that you can do this. It's all a mindset. It's all in your mind. If you doubt yourself, then you're not going to do it, because you're not going to believe in yourself. Like, where it all starts is just knowing that you can do it. And that's why I make these videos and I show my progress, because it's that makes you realize that you can do it. You see someone else did do it. When you are morbidly obese, you feel like there's no hope, there's no way, like it's going to take too long, it's going to be too hard, there's no way, it's impossible to lose weight and keep it off. Seeing someone slimmer or fit or healthy, you think that will never be you. You think it's never going to happen for you. And when you're stuck in that mindset, that's why a lot of weight loss fails, because you just don't believe in yourself that you can do that, but you can do it. Like, it is possible, you can. And I think that's why it's good to not just go 100% in from one day eating unhealthily to the next being completely healthy and stuff, because if you don't set attainable goals for yourself and you end up giving up on that one thing, you break down that trust in yourself being able to actually lose weight. So say if I said I'm going to run for an hour tomorrow, and I'm going to run every single day for an hour, and I didn't do it because it's physically not possible for me or it's not sustainable for me, then the next time I want to do something, I'm not going to believe that I can do it because I already gave up, if that makes sense. So that's why I think it's so important to set small sustainable goals, make them small sustainable changes. Once you start actually doing it and fulfilling your promise to yourself, you end up building that trust in yourself, and you know that when you put your mind to something, you can do it and you will do it. What are your best tips for accountability? I desperately want to lose weight, but I can't seem to hold myself accountable. I started my weight loss Instagram account because I wanted to keep myself accountable, like doing the weekly weigh-ins and knowing that I had to post it every single week really kept me accountable. Also, just for myself to just see how much weight I lost, if that makes sense. That's just what kept me accountable, was just that, my weight loss Instagram, and making sure that I was accountable to myself. I didn't want to let myself down. And the more I do what I say I'm going to do, the more I don't want to ever go back on myself. If I say I'm going to do something, I will do it. How long did it take for a healthy routine to become second nature to you? I always get started and fall off the horse too quick. Probably not for like 2-3 months did it become like more of a routine. Didn't become like second nature to me until probably more like half a year in did it become like second nature. I lived a really unhealthy life for many years. So it's going to take more than a couple of weeks of eating healthily to become like second nature. But now I genuinely can't see myself going back to how I lived before. So I guess it's more second nature to me now. It does take time, definitely does take time. Have you ever come close to giving up and going back to your old ways? Looks stunning, well thank you. I wouldn't say like giving up, but I definitely had, especially when I injured my back, I remember just being like, oh, well, what's the point? This is it now. I'm going to end up gaining all the weight back. And just, I remember feeling like that. And I did have days where I would overeat, especially around that time, because I was like, oh, what's the point? I can't exercise anyway. And you kind of think like you're not exercising, so you feel like you can overeat. It doesn't work like that, but yeah, but definitely not like, okay, I'm gonna definitely go all the way back to my old ways. No, I don't think I'll ever go back to my old ways. When I started seeing results, I was like, I'm never going back. Like, I'm not going back. I felt so good in myself that I was like, I'm never ever going back. What was the hardest and the easiest thing in your losing weight journey? This is a hard question. I personally think maintenance, but maybe that's just because I'm in maintenance now, and I think it's very easy to forget the struggles when you've gone past them, if that makes sense. Because I was looking back on my Instagram yesterday, my old Instagram, where I started my journey on, I'm reading through the captions, and I forgot about some of the struggles that I went through. The hardest part, maybe like finding moderation, finding a healthy balance. Since like maintaining, I want to kind of like fit all foods in moderation so that I don't feel deprived of anything, and so that I don't binge. So yeah, I think that is actually like harder than losing the weight, but that might be just because that's where I'm at now and I'm living it instead of thinking back on it. So yeah. How to stay away from fast food? I always fall off the wagon. So I would say for me, if I crave like a burger, I will make a healthier version, or a pizza, make a wrap pizza, lower calorie. So always just try and find something, whatever you crave, make it a lower calorie version. Do I drink alcohol on my weight loss? No, but that's just because I'm not really a big alcohol drinker. Like, I don't like drinking alcohol. I have had like an occasional glass of wine, but other than that, like, I'm not an alcohol drinker. Do you notice your bones digging into things like your hip bones when you lay on your side, or ribs when you lay on your stomach? It's phenomenon, I can't even say it. I've just started experiencing and I just can't get used to it. When I first lost quite a lot of fat, I did notice that, and especially like my coccyx, like the end of my spine, it was really uncomfortable. Like, it would grind in the floor, and my hip bone, like when I lie on my side or my front, and my collarbone. Yeah, like definitely, like I felt like I was like, oh my days, where are all these bones coming from? And it felt really uncomfortable. And like when I would sit in the bath, especially, my bum bones would like grind on the bath, like so embarrassing. It's either since I've built muscle that's cushioned it, or what I also think is possible is that, you know, when you lose weight, like when you're naturally bigger, you're not used to your bones being exposed and touching things. Yeah, so it just feels like more uncomfortable. But then maybe as time goes on, you get more used to it. Either way, I'm not I'm more bonier than what I was when I felt like that. It doesn't feel uncomfortable. I don't feel my bum like grinding in the bath anymore. I think I've built muscle on my bum a little bit, so maybe it's like padded it around a bit. It's not like that anymore, so maybe it'll get better. Maybe if you build muscle it'll get better as well, so I don't know. Could you talk more about the heart palpitations you experienced while you were overweight? What are some of the biggest differences you felt once the weight started coming off? More so in detail. I know you've mentioned it before, but I was wondering, what were you feeling when you got them, and did you notice it was after eating horribly? And did the heart palpitations scare you a bit about exerting yourself for weight loss goals? When I started getting heart palpitations, it was mostly in the evening, strangely. I would just be sat there like on the sofa. My heart would randomly start beating like really hard and fast. It was like boom, 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 boom. And I would come over kind of like really warm and felt like I was sweating. I would also get like a chest pain at the same time. Even when sometimes I'd be walking, I would get like a cramping feeling in my chest and it would make me like hurdle over, if that makes sense. I was like, it was scary. It definitely was scary. There was times I thought I was going to have a heart attack. I was convinced I was about to have a heart attack because it would cramp. It would hurt when it was beating. Like, I'm telling you, if I went to the hospital, they might have like said that something was wrong with me or not, but I don't know why I didn't want to go. I always feel like I don't want to waste hospital time. Maybe like I'm overthinking it and all stuff like that. So like, I think I was in denial as well. And once I started eating healthier and losing weight, so like, I think it was like a month or two into my weight loss, I stopped having it. Like, it just completely went, and I haven't had it since. So it's just weird. My heart has beat a lot faster when I've eaten a lot of sugar. Say if I was to have a day off track and I eat loads of chocolates or anything, as like on Easter when I ate loads of chocolate, my heart was beating a lot faster. I could feel it, but it wasn't the same kind of cramping feeling. So I don't know, maybe I'd eaten loads of sugar because I was constantly eating a lot of food. So maybe it could have been because I was getting high blood pressure, or I don't have any idea why I was getting it, exactly why or what was causing it, but definitely I think it was the food I was eating or my weight or something. Like, it definitely was not healthy, because I definitely don't get that anymore. No, it didn't scare me about exerting myself for my weight loss goals, but the thing is, I didn't do crazy workouts when I first started. I just was walking on the treadmill, and it did make my heart beat really fast, but I knew that was going to happen with exercise. It wasn't the same kind of palpitations, if that makes sense. Obviously, if you are morbidly obese, take it easy. You don't need to like do marathons or anything when you first start. You can start with walking. And walking is the best exercise, especially when you're obese. You don't want to try and run in when you're obese, because it'll be bad on your knees and your joints, and you end up injuring yourself and all that stuff. So yeah, that's all the questions I'm going to answer today. I'm sorry if I didn't get to your question. I will definitely do another video and try and answer all the questions. Otherwise, this video is going to be extra long. If you enjoyed the video, found it helpful, please leave the video a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Leave me a flower emoji if you've made it this far. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Bye.